Hey pals, welcome to my channel. I am Paige Miller and I'm so glad you made it here. My channel is kind of a mishmash of things. I own a picture framing and yarn shop in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, so I show you a lot of things that happen there, the things that I make there. And most of the rest of the content of this channel is just the things that I'm making at the time. I'm always making things. I feel like if you're here watching this, you're always making things. So we probably have a lot in common. So make yourself at home, and I'd like to start talking about some of the things I've been up to and what I've been making. I did take some footage throughout the past month or so to show you the things that I've been making at the shop. Also the things that I've been making in my yard. I have been gardening already. It's the middle of winter, but it's prime garden season because I am getting prepped so that by the time the warm weather comes, all I have to do is plant. So let's start off first with a little bit of a recap from the last video. It was a vlog style video. I change up the way I do things here as well. Sometimes I do vlogs, sometimes I do talking heads, sometimes I do question and answer, sometimes I do, how-tos. Like I said, it's a mishmash of things. But in the last video, I was showing you things around my yard. And in that video, I was picking some collards for my dinner that night. That was 2 weeks before Christmas. For Christmas, Paul Miller, my husband, he bought me a dehydrator, a Kasori dehydrator. Oh, I love it so much. I've dehydrated all of the things. But I harvested the rest of my kale. Nope, not kale. Collards. And I dehydrated them. I had so many collards. I knew I wasn't going to use them all. Well, I knew I was going to use them, but I knew I wasn't going to use them fresh. And usually I freeze things. I had a ton of kale from the yard over the fall that I froze. A lot of kale. I do put a lot of that stuff in my smoothies. But what I ended up doing, because they take up a lot of space in my freezer, and I have a small freezer, I dehydrated my kale. So this light green is my collards, and then this is all of the kale from the freezer. Not all of it, most of it. And it was so easy to do. I just threw it in the dehydrator, and then after they were dehydrated, I put them into my blender for like 30 seconds and dehydrated them down. This jar was super full, and I had a little bit in a tiny jar next to it. So it definitely, it filled this jar. And it was such a great way to do it because now when I put that in my smoothies, it's smooth. There are no little chunks. I don't have to blend as long. But it's a really great way to store my greens when I have a whole lot of them. So I'm really looking forward to this summer dehydrating all the vegetables. I purpose to this year, I shouldn't say I purpose as if I've never done this before, but I purpose to not waste a single vegetable. I don't generally waste, but when I say waste, I mean I give a lot of it to the chickens. So I'm hoping that by freezing and now dehydrating and canning, I'll be able to put up a lot of my stuff from the summer to use over the winter. So I'm super excited. So if you're interested in gardening and I don't know, no waste kind of living, let me know because I could definitely talk more about this stuff on the channel if you're interested. Yeah, let me know. Yay. Okay, so that was one of the things that I talked about in the last video. So I just thought it would be cool to show you what I ended up doing with all those collards. Let's move on to some of my knitting finished objects. In my last talking head video, I went on a tangent. I went into detail on the vest that I was working on, which is the Massaman Vest by Elizabeth Smith. And I was talking about how the fit, my body, blah, blah, blah. And I ripped the whole thing out because I didn't like the way it was working out because I had so much fabric in the back. So I ended up doing knitting math, and I measured myself. I compared the actual sizes. So let me go back. The vest is knit in the round. So when you knit in the round, you then split for your sleeves in the center of the circumference of the round knitting. Well, my back and my front are two different sizes, which means my arms are really in the center. So I figured out where my arms should be. And basically in the pattern, you know, there's like, I don't know how many sizes. There's a bunch of different sizes. I figured out that my back side, is like, say the third size. Let's say the third size. My front was the fifth size. So what I ended up doing was drawing myself, and you know what, if I can find my drawing and my math, I will put a picture of it in here. That's what I'll do instead of looking for it. And I figured out how many stitches I needed, front, back, sides, so I could figure it all out. And then I also figured out how to decrease the two front and back, still knitting in the round, but different decreases, because here I'm going to have more stitches than in the back, right? Because there's more. So anyway, it worked out perfectly. Like, oh, I'm so glad I took the time. You know, I sat down at the kitchen table. I was very like organized about doing this. It is perfect. My gauge was spot on. The size, exact measurements, everything was exact. And I say the word exact on purpose because I measured my body exactly. So here's the finished object, which is exactly my size. As in, your girl forgot to add positive ease. I did this whole thing without any ease. And look how pretty it is. It came out so stinking good. And I can show you here on the sides. Oops, on the side. Actually, because of the pattern, you can really see how I switched up. Let's see, maybe I should take a picture of this too. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3. That's the middle. 1, 2, 3. So you've got 2 and 3. So I guess the front ends up having 2.5 inches more than the back. But I really can't wear it. So part of the reason, like it's not negative ease, it's just zero ease. Zero ease would be fine if I wasn't so self-conscious about my chest. It's large. And so when I put this on, you can't help but see my boobs anyway, normally. But in this, it's like, whoa. And I made it specifically to go with a dress, a linen dress that I love, and just no. So I'm glad that I did this. I'm glad that I figured it out because it worked perfect. If I had just remembered to do some positive ease, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I'd be wearing it with my pretty dress. However, the other part of me is glad that I messed up the ease, because I did try it on with the dress just to see, well, maybe I'll live with it. And, you know, I pulled it so it did look like it had positive ease. Even with the ease, I realized the style of this vest with that dress I didn't like. And this color I specifically chose because it's the exact color in the dress. So I'm actually going to rip this out for the second time. I'm going to knit with this yarn for the third time, and I'm going to do a cardigan with this color to go with that dress. And then I'm going to pick out a different color and knit this again, because I do love this so much. I loved the fit, except for that it fit. The construction is so good. I thoroughly enjoyed this knit. And like I said, I knit this once, got 3/4 of the way done, ripped it out. Now I got the whole way done, and I'm going to rip it out again, and I'm going to knit it again because it really was enjoyable. It's worsted weight yarn. It's a vest. It takes no time at all. I will say, with the positive ease that I will be adding into the next one, which I think the color is going to be like a dark gray. I am also going to probably add 2 inches to the body. It's a little too cropped, and since I'm not going to be wearing it with the dress I had in mind, I might just wear it with jeans. And so 2 more inches in length I think would be perfect. So this is the part of knitting that I love, and I know a lot of people do not love, and it discourages them. And if you could just change your mindset to see the positivity in the negativity, not negative, because it's not negative ease. So it's no negativity. What's the middle of positivity and negativity? Is it just neutrality? Maybe that's what it is. If you could just see the neutrality. No, for real. It's all learning. And I'm going to be knitting anyway. Sure, would it be nice to be done and wearing this? Without a doubt. But life, Lord willing, will continue on for years and years for me. And so this is part of me learning and adding to my wisdom. See, mindset. Change the mindset, people. All right, Massaman. Finished but not finished. The next finished object that I talked about in that last talking, I keep calling it a talking head video because I heard someone call these videos that, and now I can't stop. And I keep thinking of Max Headroom from is that the 80s or the 90s from MTV? Okay. I ripped out a shawl that I had designed that I didn't end up wearing a lot, but I love the colors. And I ended up making a scarf. It is too short for me. I mean, I guess I could have made it into a cowl and then wrapped it around twice, but I'm thinking, should I do that? I don't know. It's really cute. I love it. It's just 1x1 rib. 1x1 rib. I think this is going to be, well, I guess not think, it is. I'm going to give this to my godson. He is 4, and I feel like it's like the perfect, he lives in Connecticut. I don't know. I just feel like this would be perfect for him. So I think that's going to be for him. But I just wanted to show you that I finished. I did a kind of a bind off. I did a tubular cast on, and then I think I did an Italian bind off. I didn't do a tubular bind off. I did it's a sewn, I forget, sewn bind off. I'll look it up, but it just makes for these really lovely, let's see, really lovely edges. So that's that one. Another finished object. Okay, this makes me laugh. My feet are a size 9, 8.5 if I didn't have such bad bunions, but a 9 is what I typically wear shoe wise. I made socks for my Aunt Amy. This is the second pair that I've made for her. She wears a size 6.5 foot. So this sock that I've made for her, which maybe I should grab some sock blockers, but it looks so tiny. Like so tiny. I remeasured a bunch of times because it looked so tiny that I was like, oh, is this right? I mean, by all the measurements that I've done, I do my socks 1 inch smaller than the actual foot size so that it will have 1 inch of negative ease. They look great when I put them on the sock blocker. So maybe it's fine. Right? Look how little it is though. It's so tiny. But I guess that's what happens when you're a tiny person. I think my feet were this size when I was like 12 years old. maybe younger. But so this is for her birthday. Her birthday is in a couple weeks. So I've got them done for her. So these were cranked by my friend Aquila on her her knitting machine, her Erlbacher knitting machine. And oh, I just stepped on my sock. So she sent me the tubes. I cut the sock out. I actually didn't pay attention when I first did it, and I just at one end made the toe, and cut the tube in half. At one end made a toe, and one end made a cuff. And then I tried it on and realized that the cuff was way too high up on the leg without having increases to take into consideration the calf. Oh, that was a lot of words. Did you hear me run out of breath? I felt it. So I had to snip them shorter so they would be more of a 6-inch leg. So I have this much left over. That was the top. So part of me wants to just leave this the way it is, connect some scrap yarn, like, I don't know, something like this, and then just knit a foot. I'm thinking that would be cool. Or Paul Miller said, I could just leave them the way they are and make fingerless mitts. I mean, it's a little bit, I don't know. We'll see. It would be cool to make mitts, and it would be much easier because I just have to, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I make scrappy socks or fingerless mitts? I guess if I made the fingerless mitts, then I could give the mitts and the socks to Aunt Amy. Although I knit her fingerless mitts for Christmas, so I did it with a pair of socks for myself, which I'm finishing up the cuffs, doing them 2 at a time. Why am I showing you that? It's not a big deal. But I also had to cut them off for this too. And so for myself, again, the question is, I have 1,000 pairs of fingerless mitts. So no, I'm just going to make scrappy socks with mine, and that'll be the leg. Yeah, so Aquila, she cranked them for me, and it was just so nice because I really love the knitting of the toes and the heels so much. I don't know what it is. I just love the decreasing. So having the sock tubes just makes it so much fun, especially when I don't really have the brain capacity to do a lot of thinking. It's really, really fun. So check out Aquila. Her Instagram is a Lefty Knitter podcast, and her Etsy shop is Knitty Bow Fiber Co. on Etsy. All right. So those were my socks work in progress and my finished objects. I do have a work in progress to show you that I showed you a while back, and then it kind of languished just because of the time of year, everything being busy, and because I just kind of put it away and never picked it up again. So I am revisiting my Mementos shawl. It is a mosaic shawl. It's knit in 2 pieces. Showing you that right? Yeah. And then grafted together. So that's one piece. And this is the other piece that's on a cable just waiting to be finished. And so this is already bound off. And I will graft this side to whichever side on this one, and this will be like a trapezoidal shape. Really fun. I'm in the easy part now of just doing my slip stitch and garter stripes. I have one more pattern repeat to do. Then I'll bind off half of it, and then on the other side I will probably do, I think it's like 5 more repeats of just, oh my gosh, I keep showing you the back. Nope, that's the back. This way, and then I'll connect them. So I'm pretty close to being done with this. It's really pretty. I also feel like I have a color scheme going on today. Isn't it pretty? Can you really see it? Probably not. You won't be able to see this until it's good, right? So that is my work in progress right now. I don't have any other, except for my scrappy socks that I'm finishing up for my, or not my scrappy, the sock tubes. I don't have any other knitting works in progress. So I've been researching my next project. My next project is going to be made from Cascade 220 in their Liberty colorway. What number is it? Number 9560. This is a colorway that I picked out with the girls at the cocktail hour at the Coop for our Rhinebeck house. We have like something like 14 people who stay in this house, and we all, like, I think it was Leanne who, she loves, you know, at Rhinebeck when everyone matches all of their friends, and it's just, they all either knit the same thing or they all wear the same color. And so we decided we wanted to do something like that, and we picked out this color. I know everyone is making something. Some people are crocheting, some people are knitting, I think, and it's, you know, some sweaters, some shawls, a hat, some color work, and this is just the color work, whatever. Leanne made the Cowboys and Angels shawl by Isabel Kramer, and I was going to make that so that we could match, but then I remembered I still haven't made anything out of my 52 weeks of shawls from Laine magazine or Laine publications. This is a beautiful book. I sell it at the shop, although right now I'm out of stock because I sold out. It's crazy. These books, the 52 weeks of shawls and the Pure Joy, not Pure Joy, that's a pattern. Strands of Joy. They're all Laine magazine books. They're not cheap, I have to say. I sell out of these every single time I order them. It's insane. So I will have more of these coming, but my Etsy shop is Frame and Fiber NJ if you want to check out anything I sell, which basically is everything I'm using. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you what my Massaman was made out of. That was a Quince & Co. worsted weight Lark in their American wool. Okay, so I decided I was going to pick a shawl out of this book, and the one that I picked, which if you're not interested in buying this pattern book of 52 patterns, I am making the Varda. It's hard to see because the pattern is done in some dark colors, but it's just overall textured seed stitched panels. I'm doing that one. There was several in here that I was going back and forth with, but I decided to actually, instead of picking DK weights and then having to convert them so I could do them for worsted, I just decided to say, I'm just going to do the worsted weights, and that is it. So that's what I'm making. I'll put a picture here. You can, did I say already that if you don't want to buy the book, you can get these patterns, most of them anyway, as single patterns on Ravelry now. A gorgeous, gorgeous book. Do you want to see the shawl that I want to cast on after that? Okay, hold on. Why am I telling you to hold on? Because I want to show you the yarn that I want to use. Last year at the New Jersey Wool Walk, which is quickly approaching. It's April 23rd through May 1st this year. Check out on Instagram, New Jersey Wool Walk, so you can see all the stores involved, and it's super fun. Or you can check out our website too. Sorry for the crinkling. Okay, but I bought 3 skeins of Chelsea Luxe because I had done a trunk show with Christina for the Wool Walk. And I kept these 3 colors. This is Robin's Egg, 80s Rainbow, 80s Radio, and Sunflower. I think those colors are so stinking pretty. And would make a fabulous 3-color shawl. And there just happens to be a fabulous 3-color shawl in this book. Would you like to see it? Okay, good. Let's see. Oh, I want to make this. Okay, I'm not going to show you everything in here that I want to make. There's a Stephen West pattern in here too that looks actually super fun. So, you know what I'm just realizing? I'm telling you I'm doing this Varda shawl, but am I? Because Stephen West's pattern from 2021, Dust. I want to say Dust Bowl, but that is not what it is. It's something dust. I'm going to put a picture of it here. It's so pretty. It's a Guernsey style, but it's a crescent. I think it's a crescent. Oh, do I want to do that instead? I don't think I've ever done a Stephen West pattern. Or maybe one a long time ago. Oh, here it is. Okay. It's so pretty. Wouldn't that be great in those 3 Chelsea Yarns colorways? Okay. So that could be a future make. I'm in love with shawls again. I feel like I haven't made shawls in quite some time. And now I'm wanting all the shawls. So this is either going to be the Varda shawl in that book, or it's going to be the Stephen West. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing for my Rhinebeck, with my Rhinebeck friends. Speaking of my Rhinebeck friends, the girls at Cocktail Hour at the Coop here on YouTube are running the New to Make Along 2022. I think this is the 4th year. Is it the 4th year, 5th year? They've been doing it for a while. I usually either host with them or whatever. I've been such a slacker. Like, I haven't done anything new. I haven't tried any new skills unless we count dehydrating greens. But I don't think that counts. But I want to let you guys know what's happening. I am a prize contributor. And I think I might contribute some indie dyed yarn that I bought at the Wool Walk last year as well. So stay tuned. The way you enter is just try something new. And on Instagram, use the hashtag new to you 2022. I'll make sure to get the correct hashtag down here. And just take a picture of what you're trying. Whatever it is, a new technique, a new craft, a new something, fiber related, needle arts related. Hey, get off of that. Don't you meow at me. He's making biscuits on my vest. Bubba, no. No, that's not for cats. That's not for cats. Okay. So yeah, and so I'll be contributing a prize. There are tons and tons of people involved in this. Definitely go check out the hashtag to be inspired to try something new. You have from now, today's February 3rd, so you have now till Valentine's Day, the 14th, to try something. You don't have to finish a project. You don't have to like what you're doing. You can try it and say, nope. It's not about finishing something. It's not about, any of that. It's just stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something new. I guess the Massaman, maybe that's what I will do. You know what? This is the first time that I really modified. No, it's not. Don't lie. Okay. I have nothing. I did nothing for it. So that's about all of the knitting. Are you trying something new? I hope you're trying something new. I want to show you my new obsession. Well, it's not even new. It's newish. Cross stitching. I'm still drawing. I'm still knitting. I'm still gardening. I love all of the things that I do. But now I've added the love of cross stitch. So that's what I've started. This is called Winter Garden by Jacob. I don't know if it's Graf. Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. I will put, you guys know who that is. Yeah, so this is what I've started. This is how big it'll be. I think it's really cute. I absolutely love cross stitch, and I realize that I absolutely love one color cross stitch specifically. I bought a kit from Rachel of Treehouse Fiber Arts. Check her out if you are interested in sewing and cross stitching. Her shop is awesome. She puts kits together. I bought a kit from her and I still love it. But I don't. I love the actual cross stitch, the finished image is just so lovely. I'll put a picture of it here. I think it's called Love Prevails. I bought this kit from her because I was like, oh, I love cross stitch. I'm going to buy a kit. I realized I don't like doing all of the colors. I did not have a good time. Let me go get it. Hold on. I'm just going to show you what I did. So I started the project. Rachel sends you your fabric is serged. Like it's all ready to go. It's this beautiful piece of fabric. I highly recommend her kits. She's also selling kits with Legacy Fiber Arts linens, LFA linens. Beautiful stuff. Go check her out. Paul Miller's trying to call through. I hope you guys can still hear me. Can you still see me? Okay, so this is where I got. It's pretty. I love the way it looks. I just didn't enjoy doing it. And then also I was like, holy mackerel, it's going to be so big. Like it's a very big piece. I didn't realize, because I'm new to cross stitch, that I need to look at the stitch count to actually see how big the things are going to be. So then I was like, oh, well, let me try 1/1 and it'll be smaller. So that's where I got 1/1. This one is 1/2. So let me just show them to you next to each other. So you can see how much smaller the 1/1 is. I needed to double up on my readers to do that. So I don't think I'm going to be doing that either. So I have this huge piece of fabric with the piece started. I don't think you end up using all of this, like this over here, it probably would just be like to here. So I have this whole kit. It is adorable. I thought to myself, oh, maybe I'll like personalize it and make it look like me and Paul Miller. Well, that sounded like a great idea until I realized I don't really love it. And so, oh, here. That's what it ends up looking like. I wanted to frame it like that and everything. It's just so, it was just going to be too big for Love Never Fails. That's what it's called. But it's by Barbara Anna Designs. I feel like this is an old pattern. Like, I don't remember. She doesn't write down here the copyright date, just that it's copyrighted. Oh, 2014. Oh, I thought this was old. This is not that. Oh, well, that's kind of old. Anyway, so I have this. I have this whole entire kit ready to go. I even did up my, I'm such a geek. I even did up my floss management. I took my little bread, what are these called? Bread closures. And I put the number with the little whatever. So it's all ready to go. So I'm not going to finish this. I'm not going to do it. Oh, isn't that sad? Do you guys cross stitch? Would you like this kit? I don't like things to go to waste. And I don't like them sitting around. I already started this for you. This is what my back looks like, if that is something that, you know, you're worried about. Like I said, this part over here will not hinder your working because this is a huge piece. I think it's called a fat quarter. It's a fat quarter. Would you like this? Would you like to stitch this for yourself or for a friend? If you would like this, will you leave a comment in this down below? Just mentioning the word cross stitch. Can you put cross stitch in all caps would be great. You don't have to do that. Just mention the word cross stitch. And if you mention the word cross stitch in your comment, I will draw randomly from whoever comments. And I will draw by I will pick the winner by the time the next video is up. Yeah. So I love the way it looks. I think it's so pretty. The kit is so perfect. So you'll get everything. You'll get the fabric, the pattern, and the floss. What you won't get is my Stitching the High Notes Maker's Briefcase. All right, so this is what I will be cross-stitching, this kind of stuff. I think the one color, it just zones me out. I feel like it's the same thing. It does for my brain as the same thing as drawing my mandala, whatever-ish drawings that I've been doing. Okay, anything else that I want to talk to you guys about? Did I tell you about the wool walk? Yes, that's coming up. I told you to follow the wool walk, right? Yes, cool. I have to say, oh, I have some things to show you at the shop. Why don't I just insert some video here of I want to show you what I did for Carolyn of Bloom Handmade Studios. I'm about to mount the pieces for Carolyn Bloom, the knitted pieces. These guys right here. And I thought I would stop and chat with you for a couple minutes about it. Alrighty then, so here is the first piece that I'm working on. I've got the other pieces right there. They are mounted to their board. So you can see here all of my little fasteners. They go through the knitting, which, let's see if I can show you one. If I pull this back, you can see right there, there's one. Anyway, I originally started sewing these down with a mylar thread. I didn't like the way that looked, so then I switched to a cotton thread, but the cotton with the wool didn't look so good. And then also, as I was stitching them, these are knitted pieces, and they're about 18.5 inches square. They're kind of heavy, and so the stitches, when hung on the wall, gravity would start pulling down the fabric. And so I kind of set one up just to see what would happen, and it would pull. I don't know how to describe it. I probably should have taken a video of that, but it wasn't working. So I switched to my fasteners. They're little plastic. I don't even know if they're plastic, but they look like garment tags, but super small and not made out of that like brittle, cheap plastic. But these have a T-bar that go, so when it punches through the board, a T sets on top, and that actually covers the hole that it goes through, but then a few stitches on each side of where it enters the board. That helped press the fabric down, and it didn't pull away, so there was no drooping. So this is as invisible as I think I can get it to be without you know, the stitching would be more invisible, but well, no, it wouldn't be more invisible because you could see it pulling, so therefore it wasn't invisible. I think this is the best. So now what I'll do is attach this board. So this is 2 pieces of foam board. I wanted this to be up a little bit higher off of the board here. Oh, it's hard to show, but just so it would raise up off of that background and look a little bit like it's floating. So I will glue this down to the board. I think I will I'll glue this down to the blue mat, and I think I will put it under weights overnight. And once they're done, I will either check back in and show it to you on video, or I'll take some pictures. But I'm having a super fun time framing these. Aren't those pieces pretty? She's picking them up this weekend. I'm so excited for her to see them. Okay, so at the shop, things are are quiet because this time of year, just for whatever reason, it's been like this. I've been in business 20 years. I used to get freaked out in the beginning when I would have slow moments in the year and like panic. Now I take extra days off. I take some time. So that's where I am in my brain. I feel like when I slow down this time of year is when my brain thinks about that stuff, right? Because you can't not when next week around Valentine's Day is when people start, especially with picture framing. It's crazy how it's like, I feel like there must be some place in the world where like there's a memo writing, I don't know, like the North Pole for Santa. It's like the North Pole of memos. And at the same time, everyone gets the memo to get everything framed and everyone comes all at the same time. I mean, when I was a waitress, the memo was everyone goes to dinner at the same time. So it'll be fine. All of that's fine. It is 20 years though that I've been doing this. Holy mackerel. And 20 years that I've owned my business. And 8 years. So the frame is 20 years old and fiber is 8 years old. Opened it? No, it's not. Is it 10 years old? I opened it in 2012 is when I started selling yarn. Today's 2022. That's 10. It's 10. So am I lying about my, no, the business is 2002. Yes. Okay. It's 20 years and 10 years. Holy mackerel. It flies. Okay. That's enough rambling. I'm so glad you were here. I might throw in a few more clips. You may have already seen them of things around these parts in the past month or so. I will see you soon. I will probably have a vlog coming out pretty soon. I also have some ideas for kind of like education type videos about picture framing. So let me know in the comments below how you feel about that stuff. And I hope you are well, my friends. I hope you are happy and making all of the things and enjoying the winter. I'll see you soon. Bye.